The Guardian reported that over the midterm elections, over $10 billion, you heard that right, $10 billion for political ads were spent. I don't know about you, but that's a crazy amount. And it's frustrating receiving all those phone calls, all those messages, all those, TV ads. It's just frustrating, particularly when the midterm, when it was back to back, when they had to, do more ads because it led off to, runoff in the state of Georgia. And it was just ridiculous, just playing it all in my brain and over and over. It's quite annoying, which kind of leads us into our question today, which is, should Republicans or the Republican midterm failures be chalked up more to poor candidate quality or the poor messaging? Now, I think the messaging here was ultimately the same, if not just the overall just annoyingness was both the same, which kind of leaves the option of poor candidate quality, which is what I agree with today. In a sense, it's because of these three key reasons. Starting with number one is that they had some relation with Donald Trump. Now, some Republicans like Donald Trump, some don't. But the point is that Donald Trump was involved with a lot of conspiracies that, pertaining to January 6th, the storming of the Capitol, where the majority of his supporters, stormed the Capitol, or the big lie in which he just stated that, he actually won the election, when in fact, Joe Biden won the election, which caused all this mayhem with people, opinions of Donald Trump and his tactics to combat, the media. As addition to that is where he used to go on Twitter and just, say all this, craziness against the media that really like destroyed his integrity, and it kind of led him to be a fallacy or a hero fallacy, for that example, and really destroyed his reputation. And ultimately, it did. And anyone who was related to him or had some relation or connection was being felt and baffled by it. By the amount of committees that were investigating him, his tax reports, the storming of his Mar-a-Lago, house, because he had classified information on his property, and holding his tax returns. I mean, there's so many things. Even the banning of Donald Trump on Twitter and him having to start his own media platform. It's crazy the amount of outlandish and craziness that happened with Donald Trump, and all the conspiracies and negative impact that have landed his name and his reputation into literally trash. And if you're next to it, then you smell like it, basically. And so in this sense, most of the candidates had some relation and were supported by Donald Trump himself, and he publicly said that. So I think ultimately it led to the poor candidate quality, which leads me to my second point here, is that there's a lot of allegations with these candidates, particularly with Herschel Walker in the state of Georgia, where he did some things to, I believe, his wife, and really destroyed his reputation just alongside with Trump. And so along with these allegations, plus Donald Trump's allegation, it deteriorated the value and the vote of the candidate ultimately, and taking it away to maybe a third party, or in most cases, it went over to the Democratic Party, which in this case would have gone to not Herschel Walker, and gone to Raphael Warnock. And so ultimately, these relations, whether by Trump or themselves, destroyed them getting and obtaining a vote, because it showed the poor character, the poor willing and the integrity of these candidates. Which leads me into my last point here, is that the Republican Party is ultimately in a fall and a decline. And most people put it in the political sphere is that the Republican Party has a split over people who favor Donald Trump and people who don't. And a lot of the people who do are kind of crazy. I mean, for example, if you look at Representative Major Taylor Greene, who has crazy conspiracies, doesn't believe in the Holocaust, believes in QAnon, believes in all these conspiracies, and all these people that are in relation to Donald Trump, again, has spread like relation, but not only that, decline the Republican Party as a whole, ruins the integrity, the amount of people that are passionate about the party are moving away. And to really get a perspective of that, because of Donald Trump's impact, a lot of people have switched their money because he lost, and they have been investing, betting in a sense to other candidates that are on the other side of the aisle. And so ultimately, this split has discredited and destroyed the party and has landed upon the candidate's quality and has ultimately caused them to vote no for this candidate. And so ultimately, should the Republican midterm failures be chalked up more to the poor candidate quality or poor messaging? It is ultimately to be chalked up to the candidate quality, always and will. Thank you.